In the previous video, we talked about the basic fundamental of VB.NET, and in this video, we will continue with remaining topics of basic fundamental of VB.NET. So let's start. Loop. First, we discussed about a loop. What is the loop? Why we need a loop? A loop is used to repeat the same process multiple times until it meets the specified condition in a program. Okay, it helps in reducing the size of code. It means if we want to same process repeat again and again, we use the loop. Okay, and there are 5 types of loops in VB.NET. First is do loop while loop, for next loop, for each loop, and while and loop. First, we discuss about the do loop while. First is do, loop, while and until. While and until is a keyword. We can use while and we can use until also. Okay. In do loop, first it execute the do statement and then it check the condition. Okay. It could be terminated at any time with the exit do statement. Means if we want to exit from the do loop, then we can use the exit do statement. Okay. First we will see the syntax of the do loop. Do. First we write a do. Okay. Do is the keyword. Then statement to be executed. Okay. Then we write a loop. Then we write while or until. Then in bracket we write a condition. Okay, so let's take an example. So here I is equal to I plus 1. Okay, then console dot write line value of I equals to I. It will print the value of I. Okay, first it will print the value of I. That means if I is equal to 0, then here I is equal to I plus 1 means I take a value of 1. Okay, then it will print a value of I, that is 1. Okay, after that it will check loop while I is less than equals to 10. 1 is less than equals to 10, then it again go to the do loop. Okay, I is equal to I plus 1, console dot write line dot. These are the statement to be executed. First, these statements are executed, then the condition will be checked. If the condition is false, then it will terminate the loop. Or you can say it will exit from the loop. Okay. Next is the do while until loop. First is the do loop while until, and second is the do while until loop. In this loop, first it check the condition. Okay. In do loop, first is execute the do statement, then check condition. Now do while until loop, first it check the condition. If condition is true, then it execute the block of statement. Do while until, here we write a condition. Always write a condition in these brackets. Okay. Then statement to be executed, then loop keyword. Okay. Let's take an example. Dim I as integer equals to 1. I is a variable. Okay, that's value is 1. Now do while I is greater than equals to 10. Console dot write line I is equal to I. Then here it will print the value of y. Then we increase the value of I equals to I plus 1. Then loop keyword. Okay, in this loop it checks the condition first. Then if condition is true, then it execute the block of statement. Okay. Next is a for next loop. A for next loop is useful in such a cases when we know how many times a block of code has to be executed. Okay. When it is useful? when we know how many times a block of code has to be executed. In VB.NET, the for loop is also known as the for next loop. Okay, now syntax is for, then variable name equals to start to end. Start to end, here start to end is starting point and the ending point. Okay, and the step. Step is also a keyword. Step parameter is used to determine by which the counter value of a variable is increased or decreased. Okay, if the counter value not specified, then it uses 1 as a default value. Okay, then statement to be executed, and then we write a next. Okay, now take an example. For a equals to 1, a is equal to variable name, start value is 1, 2 is a keyword, and value is 10. Step is also a keyword, and I take a value of step is 2. Okay, console write line a equals to a. Next, it will print the value of a 1, 2, 3, then 5. It means it increase the value by 2. Okay, if we write a 1, then it will print a 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10. But here we write a step 2. It means it increase the value by 2. 1, then 3, then 5 up to 10. Okay, if we write a -2, then it decrease the value. Okay, by 2. Next is a for each loop. For each loop is used to read each element from the collection, object or an array. So guys, see, for next loop is not used in array, but for each loop is used to read each element from the collection, object or an array. Okay, for, then we write for each, then variable name, okay, as data type in group. Here group is a array, any collection object. Okay, then statement to be executed, and next. Here next is a keyword that represent the end of the for loop. Any for loop, for each loop and for next loop, any for loop. Now variable name is the name of the variable to access element from the array or collection object. Okay, now take an example. Sub main dim. I create a array named odd as integer, and the value is 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. Okay, and the another variable that is not a array, that is num as integer. Now for each num in odd, okay, in is a keyword. It take a value from array, okay, then num integer take a value from an array. Okay, console.writeLine num, then it will print what? It will print the all values of odd. That means num variable take the value from the odd num, then first print a 1, then 3, 5, 7 and 9. Okay, next console.readline, I will tell you each and every statement in my practical videos. Okay, so move on the next loop. Next is a while and loop. It is also known as entry control loop statement. Okay, it is also known as entry control loop statement, which means it initially check all loop conditions. Okay, if condition is true, the body of the while loop is executed, and this process of repeated execution of the body continue until the condition is not false. And if the condition is false, control is transferred out of the loop. Okay. Now the syntax is while condition statement to be executed and while. Like take example, while x is less than equals to 10. Suppose x value is a 1. Okay. Uh, so x is less than equals to 10. Console dot write line नंबर की वैल्यू x की वैल्यू क्या हो गई 1. x इज इक्वल टू हो गया x प्लस 1. ओके एंड y. नाउ x value of x is 1. 1 is less than equals to 10. Then it will print the 1. Okay. Now x is equal to x plus 1. It means the value of x is 2. Then again control goes to the condition. On condition. Okay. Then 2 is less than equals to 10. 2 is less than equals to 10. Then condition again true. Then again print the value of x. This process is repeated again and again until the condition is not false. And the condition is false when the value of x will be 11. Because 11 is not less than equals to 10. Then the control is transferred out of the loop. This is called the entry control loop because the condition is checked. First condition is checked, then body of the while loop is executed. Now we will discuss about the array. Array is a reference data type. An array is a linear data structure that is a collection of data elements of the same type stored on a contiguous memory locations. Okay, each data item is called an element of the array. This is the first element and this is the last element. Type of data are stored in array same type of. It means if first element is number, then second element is also number. If first element is a character, then second element is also a character. First element at index 0. Okay, and the last element at the index n minus 1, where n represents the total number of elements in the array. Okay, now declaration of an array. Declaration of an array. Dim array name as data type. Declaration of array. First, dim is a keyword, then array name as data type. Same we declared a variable like dim variable name as data type. Example, dim r1 is array name, as is a keyword, integer is a data type. Okay, we can declare like this: dim r1, specify the dimension, that is a 5 as integer. Okay, then initialization of array. We have already discussed about the declaration and initialization in our previous video. So, dim r1 as integer. Now here we declare a array. Now we initialize of an array. Initialization of an array. Dim r1 as integer. This array indicate with 5 elements. Initialize an array with 5 elements that indicates the size of an array. Next, listen about the many words like many terms: one-dimensional array, multi-dimensional array, fixed size array, dynamic array, checked array. So we're discussing about these terms. Okay. First is a one-dimensional array. That means single rows and no column. Okay. Dim r1 R1 is my array, okay, one dimensional array as integer equals to 10, 11, 13 and 23. It is easy, okay. And next, when we declare a multi-dimensional array, we use a comma by separate rows and column. Okay, A is a array and is a multi-dimensional two-dimensional array. Okay, A is a two-dimensional array as which type? Integer type. Then here always specify the elements in curly braces. Okay, 0 0 0 0 means 0 row, 0 row पे the value is 0. Then the first row, here 2 is the second row, 3 is the third. That means array A with 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 rows and how many columns? 2 columns. 1, 2. Okay. Now fixed size array. A fixed size array holds a fixed number of element. Okay. We must define the number of element that it will hold during its definition. Like A is an array that is string type and we define a 3 string here, hello, hi and aloha. That means its size is 3, okay, and it is fixed. Next is dynamic array. Okay, in dynamic array, first define an array of integer. Dynamic array, why we need a dynamic array and what is the dynamic array? Dynamic array are the array that can be dimensioned and redimensioned as per the need of the program. Okay, this is an array that can hold any number of elements. In fixed array, we can't change, so we need a dynamic array to change in fixed type array. Okay, the array size can grow at any time. This means that we can add new element to the array anytime we want. Okay, now the declaration is the same num is array as integer. Okay, we have defined an integer array named num. Okay, now need to add two elements to the array while giving room for resizing it. For adding a two element, we use a redim statement. Redim is a keyword. Okay, R is a capital and D is also capital. Guys, see, dim keyword is used to create a variable. Okay, and we use a it means redimension again. Okay, then redim num 1. 1 is a dimension. Okay, 1 is a dimension. It means num 0 equals to 14. Okay, num 1 equals to 33. If we write num 2, then we will write num 0, num 1 and num 2. Okay. Now, num array has two elements in index 0 and 1. Okay. Now we want to add a third element. Okay. Now we want to add a third element to it at index 2 because we have already a index 0 and 1. Okay. At index 0 we have a value 14 and 1 we have a 33. Okay. Now we add a third element to index 2. Okay. While preserving the two elements. Okay. We want to preserve these elements and add a new index 2 value. Okay. Then we use a preserve keyword. Preserve. It means it preserve. Okay. Preserve. What is the preserve keyword do? Preserve keyword help to preserve the data in an existing array when we resize it. Okay. Then here you can see we use a rename because again we want to redimension our array. Okay, then preserve. Why we use preserve? Because we want to preserve the data in an existing array. Okay, then this is num2. Okay, num array name. Again, redeem is for redimension, preserve to preserve the data in an existing array, and this is my array name num, and 2 is the dimension. Okay, here we don't need to again write the num 0 equals to 40, num 1 equals to 33 because it is already existing. Okay, now we write a num 2 equals to 65. Okay, now our array now has 3 elements in index 0, 1 and 2. At index 0, its value is 14. At index 1, its value is 33. And at index 2, its value is 65. Okay. I hope it is clear what is the dynamic array. Okay. Next is a jagged array. A jagged array is an array of arrays. Okay. It is an array whose elements are array with different dimension and sizes. Jagged array is also a multi-dimension array with different number of rows and column elements. And this type of array can be used to reduce the space occupied by an array. Since all rows don't have equal number of columns, that's why it's reduced the space occupied by an array. Okay, and it can be initialized with 2 brackets. Always remember that it can be initialized with 2 brackets. Always with 2 brackets because it is the arrays of array. Okay, the first bracket here. First we discuss about these brackets. First, this first bracket will specify the size of an array. Okay, and the next bracket specify the dimension of an array, which is going to be stored as value. Okay, now how can we declare a jagged array? Dim num1 is a jagged array as integer type. Okay, new integer 1, then bracket, and then this is the array's statement. Okay, and in this bracket we can write the elements of array. Okay, now with 2 dimension, in the first bracket we will not write a comma. Why? Because first bracket will specify the size of an array and it can't be 2D, 3D. Okay, the size can't be 2D, it's a single. Okay, then it specify the dimension, and dimension can be 2D, 3D, multi-dimension. Okay, that's why we write a comma in second bracket. Then new integer 2, comma. Okay, now take an example. Dim val1 as integer 1, 2, 3. I told you that array is an array of array. First, we declare a array, 2 arrays. Okay, val1 and val2 with different dimension. Then now in third line we declare a jagged array, that is jagged val1. Jagged array as integer val1 and val2. It means these are the array and we declare a array of array. Okay, we can declare an initializer jagged array with different type. Okay, first is this one. Second, using the new keyword dim a as integer. A is a jagged array. Okay, new integer 3, Here dimension is 3. That means induction will be 0, 1, 2 and 3. At 0, we write a value of 0, 0. At 1 index, we write a value of 1, 2, 2, 2, 4. At 3, 3, 6. Okay. Now we can declare through this dim val as integer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. It means our jagged array having the 3 elements. Okay. And jagged val 0 is 1, 2, 3 and 3. Here the value of the jagged array at index 0 is 1, 2, 3. At index 1 is 4, 5, 6. At index 2 is 7. Okay. Then you can see guys कि jagged value 0 is 1, 2, 3. That means if we take the value of 0, 0, that is 1. If we take a value of 0, 1, that is 2. 0, 2, that is 3. It means this is the first row's value, this is the second row's value, and this is the third row value. And in at 1 is 4, 5, 6. So jagged val 1, 0. 1, 0 means 1, 0. 1 row, 0 column is 4. 1 row, 1 first row, first column is 5. First row, second column is 6. Okay. And this is the second row. First zeroth row, first row and second row. Now second row's 0 column is 7. You can see guys here these are the different type of dimension. This is 3, this is 3 and this is only 1. Okay. Next is a value data type and reference data type. Here we have already read about the array. Array is a reference data type. There we use a reference. Okay. And another one is the value data type. So let's read about the value data type and read reference data type. What is the difference? Okay. Value data type. A data type is a value type if it holds the data within its own memory allocation. Okay. A reference type contains a pointer to another memory location that holds the data. Okay. Value data type. Value data types are stored directly on the stack, but the reference type are stored on the runtime heap. Value types cannot contain the value null, but reference data type contain the value null. Okay. Creating a variable of value type is a one-step process, but creating a variable of reference type is a two-step process. Declare and initiate. The first step is to declare a variable as that type. The second step in initializations create the object. Okay. And value types include the following: all numeric data types, boolean, character and dates, all structure even if their member are reference type. Okay. Enumerations, since their underlying type is always s byte, short, integer, long, byte, etc. And the reference data type is string, arrays, class types, delegates, etc. Now we take a small example of value data type and reference data type. So this topic will be clear for you. Okay. Now, value data type and reference data type. In memory, I told you value data type are stored in which? In stack, and reference data type are actually stored in heap. Okay. Okay, just take an example. Now I declare a num variable as integer. That value is 34. Example, dim u as user. Which type of u variable is user type, and user is are Arun and 20. And the value of user is Arun and 20. Guys, you can create any class, any array. Okay, here I create a user class. So we can see that an object, a variable of the reference data type, it means that is you, okay, is not stored in stack but in the memory called the heap. Okay, both stack and heap are located in the RAM memory. The difference is in the access and in the size. Heap is almost unlimited memory and the stack memory is fast but limited in size. Okay, you can see here num is value data type that is stored in stack. Okay, and the u is a reference data type that reference is stored in stack but actually data, actually object found in heap. Okay, reference type variable are actually stored in the memory twice, once in the stack and once in the heap. Actual object found in heap and reference found in stack. Okay, that is the main difference between value data type and reference data type. Okay, next is a structure, that is value data type. A structure in VB.NET is simply a composite data type consisting of a number elements of other type. A VB.NET structure is a value type and the instances or object of a structure are created in stack. The structure can contain field, method, constant, constructor, properties, indexer, etc. Okay. Now, keyword structure can be used to declare a structure. First, we define a structure keyword. First we write a structure keyword. Simple is a structure type and we declare that elements of a structure. First, public A as integer, B as boolean and C as double, and that is the end of structure. Okay, then how can we create a structure? You can see now we create a structure. I have already created a structure. Now we use a structure in our program. First, module name, module 1 is our program name. Then main, dim, as simple. It means we create a object which type is structure type. Okay. Then when we call the structures element, how can we call? With the help of the dot operator. S is the object of structure. Okay. Then dot is the operator. A is the element of the structure. Then S dot A equals to 4. S dot B equals to true. Why we write a true? Because B is a boolean type element. Okay. C is a 5.5 because C is a double type. Okay. Now we want to print a value of C. Then how can we write? Console.writeLine as S is a structure object. Okay. Dot C. Now it will print the value of C, that is 5.5. Okay. Now take enumeration. Enumeration is a user-defined data type used to define a related set of constant as a list using the keyword enum statement. Okay. It can be used with module, structure, classes and procedures. So, how can we declare it? First, we write a enum keyword, enumeration name, okay, as data type. Why we need a enumeration? Okay, when we want to define our data type. Okay, this user defined data type, then we use a enumeration. How can we create our data type? Enum, enumeration name as data type, then enum member list and enum. Okay, take an example. Module 1 is our program name. Enum colors. What is the colors? Colors is the enumeration name. Okay. Then red, orange, yellow and green is the member list. Okay, enumeration member list. You can see enumeration member list. And we define a value of red equals to 1, orange 2, yellow 3, green 4 and add enum. If we leave the value of red, orange, yellow and green, then it take the by default value 1. The next value orange is 2, then yellow is 3 and green is 4. Okay, we can change the value of the yellow. If we write a yellow equals to 5, then it will take the value of green is 6. Okay, it means if we write the value of yellow equals to 5 but leave the value of green, that it can take the by default value of green is 6 because we write the value of yellow is 5. We want to print the value of color red is, then the value print. How can we print? Ampersand colors is our enumeration name. Okay, color same, dot operator. Okay, red is a list, member list. Then how can we call the member? First we write a enumeration name, dot operator, then member name. Okay, color dot red is print the value of red. Colors dot yellow is print the value of yellow. But here I didn't write a ampersand, then it will print the green, GREEN only, not the value of green. Okay, then console read key and sub and end module. So guys, that's all about the basic fundamental of VB.NET. In our next class, we will start the practical sessions. Okay, so if you like my video, then please like and subscribe my channel for new updates. Bye bye.